Welcome to the State of Tech, the European edition, Monday, April 27th, 2026. I'm Samantha Lawrence.
And I'm Bob Russell. Today, Jeff Bezos' AI lab, Project Prometheus, picks London for its new hub. Meta and Microsoft slash thousands of jobs while pouring billions into AI. Microsoft and Seoul National University launch a Korean AI literacy program. China's chip imports surge on AI demand. Chinese power equipment makers cash in on the global AI build-out, and Ant International rolls out privacy-enhancing technologies across Alipay Plus. Let's start with Bezos and London.
Project Prometheus, the AI lab Jeff Bezos has been quietly building, is in advanced talks to take a big chunk of office space in King's Cross. The lab just closed a $10 billion funding round at a $38 billion valuation, and London is now its second home outside the United States.
And the focus is interesting. Prometheus isn't chasing chatbots. It's building AI systems that understand the physical world, with the first applications aimed at engineering and manufacturing. Think factory floors, robotics, industrial design. King's Cross is already home to Google DeepMind, so Bezos is essentially planting his flag right next door.
King's Cross has quietly become Europe's AI postcode. Demand for AI office space in London is projected to hit 4 million square feet by 2033, and that's before you count the spillover into Cambridge and Oxford.
The bottom line is that AI talent is clustering, and clusters compound. Once DeepMind, Anthropic, OpenAI, and now Prometheus are all within a few tube stops of each other, every researcher in Europe wants to be there. That's good for the UK, but it makes the rest of Europe nervous.
It also tells us where the money is heading next. Physical AI, models that reason about machines and materials, is the new frontier after large language models. Bezos is betting that engineering and manufacturing are where the real productivity gains live. For Europe, this is a double-edged sword. London post-Brexit is pulling AI investment that might once have landed in Paris, Berlin, or Amsterdam. Mistral and Aleph Alpha are doing serious work on the continent, but the gravitational pull of London is real.
And there's a regulatory wrinkle. The UK has taken a lighter touch than the EU AI Act, which is part of why these labs prefer London. Brussels will have to decide whether to soften its approach to keep talent or hold the line and accept that the Frontier Labs cluster across the channel. Either way, European industrial firms should be watching Prometheus closely. Because if Bezos cracks physical AI, every German car maker and Italian machine builder will want a seat at that table.
And let's not forget the energy and data center footprint that comes with it. London's grid is already groaning.
Meta is letting go of around 8,000 workers, roughly 10% of its workforce. Microsoft is offering early retirement packages to about 7% of its U.S. staff. And both are framing it the same way. We need to fund the AI build-out.
Mark Zuckerberg has put a number on it. Meta plans more than $115 billion in AI spending this year alone. That's not a typo. Microsoft's CapEx is in the same ballpark. The maths is brutal. Cut payroll, redirect the savings into GPUs, data centers, and model training.
What's striking is who's being cut. It's not just middle management. Engineers, recruiters, marketing, even some AI-adjacent roles are going. The companies are essentially saying the AI we're building will do part of what these people used to do.
This is the clearest signal yet that the white-collar AI transition isn't theoretical. It's happening on payroll spreadsheets right now. And when Meta and Microsoft move, every other large enterprise watches and copies.
There's also a financial markets question. Investors have so far cheered the AI CapEx story, but at some point, shareholders will ask when the returns show up. Cutting jobs is the easy part. Proving the AI replacement actually delivers productivity is harder. Europe matters here because both companies have substantial operations across Dublin, London, Paris, and Munich. Meta's Dublin hub alone employs thousands. European works councils and unions will fight harder than American ones, so the cuts often land slower and more expensively on this side of the Atlantic.
And European regulators will be paying attention. The Commission has been pushing a skills agenda for years, And if AI is genuinely displacing white-collar work at this scale, retraining programs need to move faster. France and Germany have already floated AI transition funds. Expect more of that.
The other angle is competitive. If American firms get leaner and faster through AI, European companies that don't follow risk falling behind on cost. That pressure will cascade through SAP, Capgemini, the big banks, everyone.
Quick interruption. If you listen to The State of Tech regularly, hit that like button and subscribe. That way you'll never miss an episode. Okay, moving on. Microsoft has teamed up with Seoul National University to launch a free Korean language AI literacy and certification program. It's aimed at teachers and what they're calling changemakers, people in social innovation roles. It's part of Microsoft's Global Elevate initiative.
The curriculum was localized by SNU's Center for Innovation of Future Education using Microsoft's global skilling content as the base. Participants get a certificate, and the program will expand from educators outwards into K-12 teaching staff and social innovation organizations over time.
The framing matters. This isn't a coding boot camp. It's about responsible use of AI, understanding what these systems can and can't do, and how to bring them into classrooms without breaking things.
AI literacy is the unglamorous half of the AI revolution. Everyone talks about frontier models, but if a generation of teachers can't tell a hallucination from a fact, the classroom damage is real and lasting. Programs like this are infrastructure.
It's also a soft power play by Microsoft. Get into the education system early, and your tools, Copilot, Azure, the whole stack, become the default for the next generation of Korean professionals. Google and OpenAI are running similar plays elsewhere. Europe should be looking at this carefully. The EU AI Act actually contains an AI literacy obligation, Article 4, requiring organizations to ensure staff using AI have a sufficient level of understanding. But there's no unified European program to deliver that.
Finland did something similar years ago with its Elements of AI course, which reached over 1 million people. That worked. But most member states are doing their own thing, which means uneven quality and duplicated effort. A pan-European AI literacy push, ideally not run by a single American vendor, would be smart industrial policy.
And there's a sovereignty question. If Microsoft becomes the de facto AI literacy provider in Korean schools, the same model could play out in European ones. That's worth a debate in Brussels.
Economists are sharply revising China's import forecasts upwards. For the first time since 2021, imports are expected to grow faster than exports, with imports projected to hit a 5-year high of 5% in 2026. The driver is simple: AI chips.
March was the tell. Integrated circuits accounted for nearly a third of total import growth in that single month. Despite all the export controls and the headlines about domestic Chinese chip champions, China is still a massive net importer of high-end silicon.
And it's not just NVIDIA smuggled in through third countries. It's memory chips from Korea, equipment from the Netherlands and Japan, specialist components from across Asia. The AI build-out in China is genuinely global in its supply chain.
This complicates the Washington narrative. The story in D.C. is that export controls are choking Chinese AI. The numbers say something more nuanced. China is paying more, finding workarounds, and importing record volumes anyway.
It also shifts the trade balance debate. If Chinese imports really do outgrow exports, you'll hear less about the trade surplus and more about China as a customer. That changes the politics around tariffs, especially in Europe. ASML is the obvious European beneficiary. Every advanced chip in this import surge eventually traces back to a lithography machine from Veldhoven. Even with restrictions on the most advanced EUV tools going to China, the older deep ultraviolet machines are flying off the shelves.
But there's a flip side: component scarcity. If China is hoovering up high-bandwidth memory and advanced packaging capacity, European AI startups and cloud providers face longer lead times and higher prices. Mistral and the European hyperscalers are price takers in that market.
And it sharpens the case for the European Chips Act. 2 years in, the results are mixed. This data is a reminder that without domestic capacity, Europe is bidding against China for every wafer.
Beyond chips, there's a quieter story. AI data centers need staggering amounts of power, and the equipment that delivers it, transformers, switchgear, cooling systems, is in short supply globally. Chinese manufacturers are stepping into that gap.
Lead times for high-voltage transformers from traditional Western suppliers like Siemens Energy and Hitachi Energy have stretched to 3 or 4 years. Chinese firms can deliver in months. So hyperscalers building data centers in the Middle East, Southeast Asia, and increasingly Europe are quietly placing Chinese orders.
It's a real industrial windfall. China dominates solar and batteries, and now it's expanding into the grid equipment that makes AI possible. The AI boom isn't just a chip story, it's an electrical engineering story.
Power is the new bottleneck for AI. You can have all the GPUs in the world, but if you can't energize the data center, they're paperweights. Whoever supplies the substations and the transformers has structural leverage.
And this is foundational infrastructure with 30-year lifespans. Once Chinese equipment is in the grid, it's there for a generation. That's not a decision to make casually. Europe faces a genuine dilemma. Siemens Energy and Hitachi Energy's European factories are flat out and still can't keep up. Saying no to Chinese suppliers means slower data center rollout, which means less AI capacity, which means more dependence on American clouds.
Saying yes raises security questions. Grid equipment increasingly contains software and remote monitoring. The UK and Germany have already flagged concerns about Chinese components in critical infrastructure. Expect a messy compromise. Chinese equipment for commercial data centers, European equipment for anything touching defense or government.
It also strengthens the case for European industrial expansion. If grid equipment is the new strategic choke point, building more of it in Europe should be an EU priority alongside chips.
Time for something a bit lighter and genuinely clever. Ant International has upgraded Alipay Plus, its global wallet gateway, so that all critical operations now run on privacy-enhancing technologies, PETs for short. It's the first digital payment network to do this in live production.
PETs encrypt data before it gets processed, which means even Ant itself can't see the underlying transaction details. The connected network reaches 1.8 billion e-wallet users worldwide. That's not a pilot. That's a quarter of humanity's payments running through privacy-preserving cryptography.
The technology behind this is fun. We're talking homomorphic encryption, secure multi-party computation, things that used to be academic curiosities a decade ago. Now they're processing your holiday souvenir purchase in Bangkok.
For years, the industry said PETs were too slow for real-world payments. Ant just proved otherwise at enormous scale. That changes the conversation for every bank, every payment processor, every fintech.
And it flips a stereotype. We tend to assume Chinese tech and privacy don't go together. Here's a Chinese-origin company setting a global benchmark for privacy-preserving payments. Worth pausing on. For European travelers and merchants, this is genuinely good news. Alipay Plus is widely accepted across European tourist hubs, and tighter privacy on those transactions reduces GDPR exposure for the merchants accepting them.
It also raises the bar for European players. The digital euro is being designed right now, and privacy is a huge political issue around it. The European Central Bank has been talking about PETs for the digital euro. Ant has just shown it can be done at scale, which removes a key excuse.
Expect European fintechs, Adyen, Klarna, Revolut, to start advertising their own PET deployments soon. Privacy is becoming a feature you market, not just a compliance box you tick. And honestly, that's a nice place to end the day.
Today we covered Bezos' Project Prometheus opening in London, Meta and Microsoft's massive layoffs alongside huge AI spending, Microsoft and Seoul National University's AI literacy push, China's surging chip imports, Chinese power equipment makers riding the AI boom, and Ant International's privacy tech rollout across Alipay Plus.
Want to know more or react? Visit stateoftech.eu or email us at info@doorzetters.net. State of Tech, the tech world in 15 minutes.